Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi SOTAH Lamed Ches. We are holding on Lamed Zayin Amud Beis right at the Mishnah, which is 2 lines from the bottom of the Amud. So back in the beginning of the Perek, we had a list of things that must be recited specifically in Lashon HaKodesh, one of which is Birchas Kohanim, where the Kohanim bench the Tzibur, Yivarechecha Hashem V'Yishmerecha, etc. Now the Mishnah and the ensuing Gemara will provide all the details and describe to us exactly how Birchas Kohanim is meant to take place. Says the Mishnah, Birchas Kohanim Ketzad. How do you go about doing Birchas Kohanim? There are actually 2 ways to do it. Depends on location. B'Medina, if you're outside the Beis HaMikdash, then you say it the way we do it. Oimer Oisa Shalish Brachos, you split it into 3. One pasuk, they answer Amen. The next pasuk, Amen, and so on. Uba Migdash, but in the Beis HaMikdash, where, as Rashi explains, we don't answer Amen. It's not part of the repertoire. Bracha achas. There, the Kohanim will combine all the 3 brachas, Yivarechecha, Yair, and Yisa, all into one. Another difference between Migdash and outside Migdash. By Migdash, Omer es Hashem Kusoi. There is a Migdash. The Kohanim actually articulate Hashem's name the way it's spelled. Yud, K, Vav, K, Uba, Medina, Bekinuya. But outside the Migdash, we do it in its Kinoi. In the Aleph Dalet version, the way we daven today, Adai, etc. But Medina Kohanim Noisim Esyadein Keneged Kasfein, in places outside Yerushalayim, outside the Beis HaMikdash, the Kohanim will pick their hands up when they do the bracha, pick it up to their shoulder level. Rashi says you need Nesias Kapayim, you need to lift your hands, as we're going to see in the Gemara. Uba Migdash al Gabi Rishain, in the Beis HaMikdash, where they would have their bracha with the Shem HaMefarash. And Rashi says the Shechina now rests on their fingers, so they have to lift it above their heads, which is way higher than their shoulders, as an expression of kavod for the Shechina. That applies to the regular Kohanim. Chutz mikohen gadol, as opposed to the kohen gadol, she'ena magbias yadav l'mala ben hatzitz. He will not lift his hands that high above the gold nameplate on his forehead, which contains the Shem of Hashem. You don't want to. Lift your hands above that, above the Shem HaMefarish on the tzitz. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, no. Af kohen gadol magbias yadav l'mala ben hatzitz. Even the kohen gadol, wearing the tzitz, will still lift his hand above that. And the reason is because the kavod hashchina, the presence of the Shechina which rests on his hands, are a level higher. The Shechina is greater than the kavod of the Shem Hashem in the tzitz. Some Farshim explain because on the tzitz it's in writing, here it's different, it's like alive and it's being expressed, so it's on a higher level. Therefore the hands go higher than the tzitz. Shenemar, as we find by Aaron HaKohen, who gave that first Birchas Kohanim, Shenemar Yisa Arnes Yodav Ala'am Vayivarachem. So we see that he lifted his hands. We assume it was, above his head, above his tzitzis. Tanarabon, Koi Sevarchu. The Kohanim were instructed to bless Klal Yisrael, right? Koi Sevarchu es Bnei Yisrael. Which language do they use? B'Lashon HaKodesh. Ato Eimer B'Lashon HaKodesh. You're suggesting B'Lashon HaKodesh. Oy Einoi. Ela V'Chaloshen. Perhaps any language works. Answer is Nemar Kan Koi Sevarchu. We have the Loshen Koi Sevarchu. V'Nemar Lahalan, we have by the Levium. When they declare the brachas and klalos, we have Ela Yamdu Levarach Hasam. So we have another reference to somebody being instructed to give brachos, and we connect the two contexts. Malahalam Lashon HaKodesh, just like over there by the Levium, we know it was Lashon HaKodesh, as we learned the other day. Koil from Moshe Rabbeinu. So there it's Lashon HaKodesh, Avkan. Likewise over here by Bichas Kohanim, it is also meant to be expressed by Lashon HaKodesh. Rabbi Yehuda in Tzarech, we don't need this Gzeira Shava, because here itself we have a raya. In the words of Bichas Kohanim, we have that it's Lashon HaKodesh. Harayu Omer. Look how the pasuk refers to it. Koi sevarchu. Koi means ad sheyomru b'lashon hazeh, needs to be absolute in the original, in Lashon HaKodesh, the way it's written in the Torah. Ta'anyo idach. We have another brayz. Koi sevarchu. This is the way you say your birchas kohanim ba'amida, in a standing position as opposed to sitting down. You're suggesting standing. Perhaps you can even sit. The answer is Nemar Kan Koisavarchu. We have Koisavarchu over here. V'nemar Lahalam. We find elsewhere by the Levium on Har Grizim. Elo Yamdu Lavarich. So we have bracha here, bracha there, and we connect the two. Ma Lahalam Ba'amida. Just as over there they were standing up. Elo Yamdu Lavarich. Avkan Ba'amida. Likewise over here by Bichas Kohanim, it must be done standing up. Rabbi Nosson Omer Ein Tzarech. We don't need this Gzeira Shava. We have a more simple source, a hekesh, a local connection. Harayu Omer. The pasuk says regarding kohanim, l'sharsoi ulevarach b'shmoi. Hashem designated the Levium to serve and to bless in His name. So we find a reference to Birchas Kohanim and to bringing of the karbanos, serving in the mikdash. And we connect it to Ma Misharis Ba'amid, when he serves. Just as when he brings karbanos, it needs to be done in a standing position. Likewise, Birchas Kohanim requires standing. How do we know that he does the other avodah standing up? We have another brayso. This is the way you do the bracha of Birchas Kohanim. Which way? B'nesius kapayim, with raised hands. Ato Emer b'nesius kapayim. You're suggesting raised hands. Perhaps you don't need raised hands. The answer is Nemar Kan Koisavarchu. We have Koisavarchu over here. Nemar Lahalan, and by the bracha where Aaron HaKohen gave Klal Yisrael on the 8th day of the Miluim, we find again a Lashon bracha. We have we connect the two things. Just as over there, with raised hands. Avkan, likewise, everywhere else, when we have Birchas Kohanim, B'nesius Kapayim, it is done with raised hands, which is reflective of the fact that the Shechina rests on their hands, on their 10 fingers, which correspond to the 10 aspects of Shechina. The Ramban goes into this in the Pirush and Chumash. Okay, so we're connecting the ordinary Birchas Kohanim to that Birchas Kohanim which Aaron applied on that day of Miluim. Asks the Gemara, Kashlei Rabbi Yonasan. Rabbi Yonasan had a problem with this Gzeira Shava. How could you match up the two things? Im alahalan kohen gadol. If you're going to learn from there, it's very different. There, it was Aaron, a kohen gadol, and it was actually Rosh Chodesh, on a special day Rosh Chodesh, and it was Vavodas Tzibur, and involved the karbanos that belong to the community. Avkan. So we're here as well, meaning the Birchas Kohanim that we're trying to compare to that one, perhaps also requires a Kohen Gadol, Rosh Chodesh, Avodas Tzibur, and then we need to raise our hands. But ordinarily, who says that is required? Therefore, says Rabbi Nosson, forget about you don't need the Gzeira Shava. Rather, we're going to learn from a Hekesh. So Gzeira Shava is where you use a word here and a word there. We connect it. Hekesh is within the pasuk itself. We'll find that correlation, that connection. Harayu Omer. Pasuk speaks about the fact that Hashem chose Aaron HaKohen to serve him and his children Kol HaYamim throughout all the generations. Hu van of Kol HaYamim. So in one pasuk we have a reference to Aaron and his kids. Makish ben Avloi, this allows us to connect, to correlate the kids to the father. Mahu ben Asir's Kapayim, just as Aaron HaKohen had to raise his hands, as we learned before, Afbanav ben Asir's Kapayim, likewise, his children, until the end of time, will raise their hands during Birchas Koyanim. Uksiv. So then the question is, maybe we can learn from Aaron HaKohen that hands must be raised, but perhaps only a Kohen Gadol. So the answer is no. We connect Aaron to Banav. Next question was, perhaps it only applies to a special day like Rosh Chodesh, right? And perhaps only when they're involved in Karbanis Tzibur, right? We had three problems, right? How could he connect to Aaron HaKohen by the Miluim? It was a Kohen Gadol. It was Rosh Chodesh. He was involved in the communal Karbanis. Maybe raising hands only applies to that type of case. But that's why we have the Hekesh. We connect father to sons. Even a regular Kohen requires Nesir's Kapayim. Uksiv Kol HaYamim. And the Pasuk says Kol HaYamim, which tells us that what? That it's not only applicable on special days, on special occasions. It applies all the time. Whenever you have Birchas Kohanim, you raise your hands. Now, in this pasuk, we don't necessarily have any reference to Birchas Kohanim. Pasuk says Hashem chose Aaron, Lamed L'Sharis, right, to serve him. Hu uvan of Kol HaYamim. Right, the pasuk reads like this: Ki boy bachar Hashem alekechem kol shvatecha lamed l'shareis b'shem Hashem hu uvan of Kol HaYamim. So Aaron and his descendants will serve Hashem. So you see that his kids are connected to him. But regarding service, what about regarding bracha? The answer is v'iskish bracha l'sheris. We already have that connection before. L'shar soy levarach b'shmoy, discussed before, which connects Birchas Kohanim to ordinary service in the Beis HaMikdash. Iskash bracha l'sheris, that allows us to apply anything that it's applicable to service, to sheris, which is that connection between Aaron and Van of l'sheris. We apply that to bracha as well. So basically, whatever Aaron HaKohen did during his bracha applies to his kids as well. There's your answer. Raising hands, we learn that from Aaron HaKohen because Aaron and his kids do things the same way. We have another brayso discussing Birchas Kohanim. This is the way you should do the bracha. B'shem HaMefayrash. We use Hashem's name explicitly. Yud Kei Vav Kei. Ata Omer b'shem HaMefayrash. You're suggesting to do it that way. Oy Einoi Ela B'kinuya. Perhaps do it in that indirect form. Aleph Dalet and Nun and Yud. Tamar Leimer v'Samu Shmi. Al Bnei Yisrael, right? The Kohanim will place my name, Shmi, my special, unique name, on Bnei Yisrael, Shmi HaMiyuchad Li, the unique name, Shem HaMefarish, the way it is in the original. And that's how we do it in the Beis HaMikdash. Question: why only in the Beis HaMikdash? Yochel Af B'Gvul Kain, perhaps this applies even outside the Mikdash. The answer is Nemar Kan V'Somo Shmi. So we have the words V'Somo Shmi over here by Birchas Kohanim. V'Nemar Lahalon, and elsewhere where the pasuk describes the Beis HaMikdash, we have a pasuk which says, I'll read the whole pasuk. Ki im el hamokim asher yivchar Hashem alekechem kol shiftechem, that special place Hashem will choose losam es shemoy sham, to place His name, to have His Shechina rest over there. So Hashem's unique name is related to the Beis HaMikdash specifically. Ma lahalan Beis HaBchira, just like over there in that pasuk, we see that Shem Hashem is dependent upon location. Avkan beBeis HaBchira, likewise over here by Birchas Kohanim, V'Somo es Shemi, it applies only in the Beis HaMikdash. Rabbi Yashu Omer in Etzarech, we don't need this Gzera Shava to teach us this halacha. Harayu Omer, we have another pasuk which tells us that Shema Mefurish is unique for the Beis HaMikdash and not outside of it. Harayu Omer, the pasuk says, B'chol hamakom asher asker shemi, wherever you decide to mention my name, I come to you and I bless you. B'chol makom sakataitach. Can you really suggest that Hashem's name is to be expressed explicitly anywhere you wish? That can't be. Rashi brings, we learn from the pasuk, Zeh Shmi v'Zeh Zichri. You're not meant to explicitly verbalize Hashem's name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. A mole nowhere. Ela mikra zeh mesurasur. Rather, this pasuk is meant to be learned by rearranging the words. It's sort of out of order. It reads like this: B'chol makom asher avei elecha uberachticha. The makom where the Shechina comes and gives a bracha, which means the Beis HaMikdash, which is the place of Shechina. Sham hasker shemi. That's where my name is meant to be mentioned. And where is that place that I come and I give you the bracha? The Beis HaBchira, that's the Beis HaMikdash. Right? That's the place where the Shechina rests. Sham asker shemi Beis HaBchira, that's where you mention my name. That's where the Shema Mefurish is meant to be mentioned, only in the Beis HaBchira. So bottom line, Birchas Kohanim in the Beis HaMikdash uses Hashem's name explicitly, as opposed to outside the Mikdash, where it is said in the Aleph Dalet form. Tanya Yidach, we have another brayso. This is the way you should apply the bracha to Bnei Yisrael. Ainli el Bnei Yisrael. Perhaps Birchas Kohanim is only applicable to Bnei Yisrael. What about Gerim? What about women? Nashim, Vavadim Meshuchrarim, released slaves. Minayin. How do we know that they too are included in the bracha? They too can get the bracha of the Kohanim. Tamalaymar. The pasuk says, Emor lahem, right? Kois v'orchos bnei Yisrael. Emor lahem, lekulu, and includes all. Tanya, we have another brayso. Pasuk says, Koi sevarchu. This is the way you do the bracha. We learn, panim keneged panim, face to face. If you want to receive the bracha, you have to face the Kohanim. You're suggesting face to face. Perhaps it works even if the kohen is facing my back. The pasuk says emor lahem, the way you converse with a person, ka'adam ha'imel chaveroi, face to face. Tanya Yidach, koisavarchu means b'kol ram, that they need to do it loud so that the tzibur hears them. Perhaps even in a whisper, it works as well. Speak to them. The way you speak to your friend in an audible fashion. We have this Kabbalah, this halacha. When the Shliach Tzibur summons the Kohanim, tells them to get going, if there are two Kohanim available, then he calls out to them with the word Kohanim. He addresses them like that to get them to start the Birchas Kohanim. But if there's only one Kohen in the shul, in this case, the Kohen just starts on his own. He doesn't need the Shliach Tzibur to call out to him. Shnema emor lahem, call out to them. Lahem is plural, lishnayim. Ve'amar Rav Chizah, another halacha, naktinan. We know this for a fact as a halacha. Kohen koire kehanim. If the Shliach Tzibur, the Chazan, is a Kohen on his own, by his own right, then he has a right to call out to the Kohanim. He says, Kohanim, let's go. Start your bracha. Ve'in Yisrael koire kehanim. But if the Shliach Tzibur is a Yisrael, he doesn't call out to the Kohanim. They just start on their own. Shenemar emor lahem, call out to them. And we learn Amira Mishalahem. We only address them if the one addressing is also a Kohen. Mishalahem tehei, it needs to be one of them. What's the halacha? So we have Abaye who says that only by two Kohanim do we address them, and Rav Chizda who says only a Kohen can address. So it's one-on-one. V'ilchasa said Abaye. In the first halacha we pass like Abaye. V'les hilchasa kavasei Rav Chizda. We do not pass like Rav Chizda. Amar B'Shuban Levi. Menayin shakadosh baruch hu misave leberchas kohanim. How do we know that Hashem desires? He wants very much that the kohanim should apply the bracha to Klal Yisrael. Shanamar v'samos shemi al bnei Yisrael v'anei v'rachem. They should place my name, apply my name to bnei Yisrael. It's something that I have a strong interest in them doing. V'amar Shimon Levi, Kol Kohen Shemevorech, if a Kohen engages in Birchas Kohenim, he blesses the Tzibur Mizbarech, he is deserving and will receive Hashem's bracha. But if he doesn't engage in Birchas Kohenim, Ein Mizbarech, he will not earn Hashem's bracha. I will bless those who bless you, Klal Yisrael. So a Kohen who applies bracha, Hashem applies bracha to him. Duchen was that sort of stage upon which the Kohanim would stand when they would apply their bracha. A Kohen who fails to go up, fails to fulfill his obligation, does not do Birchas Kohenim, over b'shloisha asay, he violates 3 mitzvahs asay. Number 1, koisa varchu. Number 2, emor lahem. And number 3, v'samo es shemi. Rav Omar, furthermore, choishishin sheme ben grusha, oy ben chalutzahu. If he fails to go up, that raises a red flag in terms of his lineage. Perhaps he's a son of a divorcee who married a Kohen, or an Isha who went through Chalitza and married a Kohen, which makes him a disqualified, a Pasal Kohen, ineligible for Birchas Kohenim. So perhaps he's one of these people, Ben Grusha, Ben Chalutzu, V'lai Pligi, but really there is no machlokes between Rav, who raises this red flag, and the previous Shita, Rabbi Shimon Levi, who seemed not to be concerned. He just, warned him against losing the opportunity, losing the 3 mitzvahs asay, but no more than that. And the answer is, depends if he goes up there once in a while, special occasions, for Yom Tov, etc. Then we know that he's certainly a Kohen, although he is negligent in his responsibilities. Rav is speaking when he's never up there, even on occasion, which raises some questions regarding his familial lineage. If a Kohen does not go up to the Duchen when the Shliach Tzibur is at the Broch of Ritzei, which we call Avodah because it relates to the Karbanis, that's the time to go up. If he doesn't go up at that point, it's too late. When did Aaron HaKohen engage in Birchas Kohenim? When he was involved in Avodah. We make that connection. Just like over there, it was during the Avodah. Avkan, likewise by us, although we don't have Karbanis, but our Tefillah, especially the Bracha of Ritzei, which is Avodah, is the time to go up Avkan ba'Avodah. Eini, is that true that this is really critical? Rav Amir Rav Asi, they were Kahanim. Salki, they went up to the Ducha after Avodah. The answer is Rabbi Amir Rav Asi, really, their feet started, they started shuffling their feet. They sort of left their place in the shul in advance of their ascent to the Duchan. They started at the Avodah portion. That's when they started making their way up to the Duchan. Mimta lo yahavu matuhasam, but in terms of arriving to the Duchan, that didn't happen until a bit later. But as long as you start preparing yourself, so to speak, at the Avodah portion, you're okay. As Rav Yesha tells us, lo yishanu. When is there a concern? Elash lo akas raglav, when he didn't start shuffling his feet, aval akas raglav. But if he started walking at that point, oila, then he has until the last minute to get up there. But Tananami, we find the same concept in a Mishnah in Brachas, where the Chazan, the Shliach Tzibur, is discouraged from participating in Birchas Kohenim. Even if he's a Kohen, he should stay out, because it can confuse him in terms of being able to pick up where he left off in the Shemoneh Esrei. But if he is sharp-minded, if he can guarantee, he's assured that he can pause during his Shemoneh Esrei, do Nesiyos Kapayim, do Birchas Kohenim, v'choizel Tfilosein, and go right back in, slide right back into the Tefillah without interruption, Rashai, then we give him the green light. And the question is, the question on that was, Halay Akar. He didn't start going anywhere during Avodah. He was standing in his place during Avodah. Is that a precondition? Well, he's not doing it. Elo did not put. Apparently, as long as he moves a bit, he shuffles his feet a bit towards the Duchan, that's enough. Likewise, in our situation, regarding Rav Amir Rav Asi, as soon as you start moving in that direction during Ritzei, that's enough. Another lesson from the same Amoira. Ein noisnen koshel bracha levarich. Who do we hand the koshel bracha birchas hamazon? Who do we hand it to? In those days, they would actually make the bracha and we might see everybody. Who is meant to be doing that? Elul tov ayin, only a fellow with a good eye, a generous, good-natured person, who's going to have everybody in mind in his bracha. Shenamar tov ayin, a person with a good eye, hu yevayrach, he will be blessed. Ki nosan milach meladal. Now we have a drasha. Alter kri yevayrach, instead of yevayrach, he will be the recipient of bracha. Ela yevarech, he should be the one that imparts bracha, because he's a tov ayin. Omer Shmuel Levi. Conversely, on the flip side, menayin shafilu oifos. How do we know that even birds out there, makirin, they discern b'tzari ayin in these fellows who are stingy and narrow-eyed. Shenemar ki chinam mezora hareshes be'enei kol ba'al kanaf. So this stingy fellow tosses his grain into his bird trap, and the birds keep away. They're not interested. They're not going to take something from somebody who doesn't really want to give it to them. So they keep away even from his bird food out there. They smell it on the food. Whoever actually partakes from a stingy person, over belav, he's violating a love. Don't take if he's not doing it good-naturedly. Shenemar al tilcham es lechem ra. Don't take bread from this type of person as lechem ra ayin. Ki kemoi sha'ar benafshay. It's like he embitters himself when he has to give something. Kainu the same here. Ochel v'shosu yamalach. He'll offer you food and drink, but really he resents it. It's a double violation if you take from him. Al tilcham, don't take his bread. V'al tisav, and don't desire his food. You know what, we have the idea of egla rufa, where we found somebody killed on the road, killer unknown. We bring this calf and we do the egla rufa process, and the ziknei ha'ir, the elders have to come and confess, look, we're not involved, we're not guilty, and they bring this egla rufa, and that's how they address the tragedy. You know why it's brought? You know why? You know how we got into that situation? El b'shvil tzarei ayin, because of the stingy, evil-eyed people. What does that mean? Shenemar. V'anav amru. The elders get up and say, Yodeinu lo shafchu es adam hazeh. We're not involved. We're not guilty of spilling this blood. Question. Well, obviously, al libenu also shoziknei bezdin shayfchi damim. Who's thinking to the contrary? Who's holding Bezdin responsible for killing this person? Why did they have to absolve themselves? What's the point of making this statement? Ella, the answer is like this. Of course they didn't kill, but perhaps in a roundabout way, they didn't do enough in terms of influencing their constituents and influencing their community to be generous and caring, and that perhaps led to his fellow's desperation. He was out on the road, there was no food, and out of desperation perhaps he attacked somebody who had some food and killed as a result. And that's what they're confessing about. They're saying, look, we did not willingly ignore this man's plight. Ella, what they're saying is like this. He never came to us and we just sent him away, meaning we never ignored his plight. We weren't aware of this. He never came to us and we just abandoned him. What does that mean? We can tell you, look, we're not guilty of having seen him and just sent him off without food, which perhaps led to his desperation and his killing. Likewise, it's not like we saw him and just let him go without escort, which would have given him that feeling of self-worth and self-esteem, which perhaps would have empowered him to overcome his attackers. No, sorry, we're not guilty of that. We wish we could have done more. We wish we could have loaded him up with food, and encouragement, a good word, and empowered him to fend off his attackers. It's the bottom line. The fact that he did go out without food, the fact that he was not the recipient of people's generosity, did lead to his tragic end, and that's what Rav Shlomo Levi says, Egla Rufa is resulting from Tzorei Hain. Omar Ado, Omar Rav Simloi. What happens if you have a Beis HaKnesses Shekula Kehanim, a shul full of Kehanim? So who's going to listen to Brichas Kehanim if everybody's involved in Brichas Kehanim? Kulon Oilon Leduchan, everybody gets up and says Brichas Kehanim. Limim Mevarchen, who are they applying the bracha to? There are no listeners. Omar Rav Zera Lachem Shebesadis, their fellow brethren, their fellow Jews sitting out in the fields, farming the fields. They're the ones getting the bracha. Eini, does that really work if they're not here? Even people standing behind the Kehanim during Berachas Kehanim are rejected. Eidan B'chlal Bracha, they're not included. You have to stand face to face like we learned before. So how could you say the bracha of the Kehanim addresses the people out in the fields who are not here? Lakashi answers like this. They're not rejecting it, they're just engaged in their jobs. It's circumstantial, right? So it's not an outright rejection. Hada Anisi, they're honest. They're not faulted for being out there, so therefore they're included. Hada Le Anisi, as opposed to a fellow standing nearby and he specifically stands behind the Kehanim. That's a rejection. That's unwilling to be a receptacle, which requires face to face. Says the Gemara, Vatani Rav Simi. Rav Simi brought a brisa, Birta de Shchur. He was from a place called Birta de Shechuri. The brisa which says like this: Beis HaKnesses Shekula Kehanim. You have a shul full of Kehanim. Miktasan Oilan, Miktasan Oinen. Some go up there, and some stay back and listen. Oinen Amin. And you tell me everybody goes up to say the bracha. Like Kasha, the answer is like this: Hadi Ishtai Be'asara. He's speaking about a case where, let's say you have a shul of 15 Kehanim. So 5 go up there, and 10 stay behind to listen. That gives prominence, that gives chashivas to the bracha when you have 10 people listening. So in that case, do it that way, rather than sending everybody up there and have no listeners locally. The previous brisa is speaking that once the kohen goes up there, you don't have 10 people left behind. Suppose you only started with 10. One kohen goes up there, you don't have a minion standing behind anyways, so may as well have them all go up there and have their brethren out in the fields in mind. Gufa, let's go back to the halacha. Tana, Abba, Breid, Rav Minyamin Barchia, Am Shachar Kehanim. People standing behind the Kehanim, Einam B'chal Bracha, they're not included in the bracha. Pshita, Arichi Ba'apigutzi, Lei Mafsaki. Now, in your typical shul configuration, people are standing behind each other, in front of the Kehanim, but standing behind each other, being blocked. Does that work? It's not face to face. No problem, says the Gemara. Pshita, it's obvious, it's pashut. Arichi, tall people, ba'api gutzi, in front of short people, blocking their view, le mafsaki, does not constitute an interruption. Likewise, teva, le mafsaka. You have the teva, which is maybe the bima, which is standard fare for the shul, that not either really going to consider a separation. That's where the shul is configured. You're still considered face to face. Mechitza mai. Let's say there's a real mechitza between the congregant and the kohen. So it's sort of in front of the kohen, but he's being blocked by a mechitza. Mai. What happens to Tashma? We have a raya. Dom Rishon Malevi. Afilu mechitza shel barzel. Even a metal, a steel separation, einam afsekes. Ben Yisrael Lavim Shemashemaim does not constitute a hefsek with respect to Hashem, with respect to Yisrael and Hashem. Hashem sees right through the mechitza, and Hashem allows the bracha to extend through the mechitza, past the mechitza, onto the Yisrael standing on the other side. So as long as you're not standing behind the kohen, which would indicate rejection, disinterest, you're standing in front, but you have to be blocked by a wall, that's okay. Here comes a question. Stud and mai. So we say face to face is how it works. What about studden, to the side? So you're standing off to the side, not behind the kohen, but off to the side of the kohen, sort of in the front, but on the side. Mao. Omar Abu Mar Baravashi. Toshma, I'll bring you a raya that it works. This now we have a Mishnah Mesechas Parah regarding spraying the Parah Aduma water. This Gavan Lahazers Lefanov. So there was some kli that was tummy in front of this person, and he's aiming at the kli. He's a la'achrav, and by mistake the water sprayed behind the person and hit a kli. Okay, so he had no intention to strike at that kli. Or la'achrav, he intended on spraying behind him. He's a la'fanav, ended up hitting something in front of him. Hazos psula doesn't work because it says v'hiza hator al hatome, needs to be directed, aimed at that recipient. What about he was spraying lefanav, he was aiming ahead, v'hiza al tzadin shebefanav, and it hit kalim which were off to the side a bit, in front of him but off to the side. Hazas kshera, that works, because that's also called part of his kavanah. That's what he had in mind, because when something is in front of you, even if it's off to the side, it's all in the same direction, and it's called proper kavanah to that direction, to that thing, and therefore it works. And here as well, if you stand behind the kohen, that's problematic. In front, face to face, that's great. But in the front, even off to the side, that's also included in the birchas kohen. Okay, so we started the sugya of birchas kohenim. We have the Mishnah. In the Mikdash, they would bundle up as one brach. Outside the Mikdash, it's split into three, with an amen in between each pasuk. What else was different in the Mikdash? Shema mefirash. Their hands would only reach their shoulder height. Their hands would go above their heads. That's except for the Kohen Gadol. Rabbi Yehuda says even the Kohen Gadol would raise his hands above his head. Birchas Kohanim is in Lashon HaKodesh, standing up with raised hands. In the Mikdash, we have the Shem Mefirash. Everybody, even Gerim, Noshim, Bavadim, Meshuchrarim are included. It needs to be face to face. B'koil Ram. The Kehanim are addressed by the Shliach Tzibur. That's how they get started. Hashem is mis'avel b'rchas koyanim. A kohen who is mevarach, he himself gets bracha from Hashem. If he fails to go to the duchen, he's over b'shleisha asay. He meant to start going up during ritzei v'avoida. Then we continued with several other things. The bracha of the mevarach should be, kosher bracha should be given to a toiv ayin. We learned about the tzaras ha'ayin and what it can bring. And we learned that even the am shebes sadais, who couldn't make it to the shul, are included in birchas kohanim. All the best to you, and much hatzlacha.